everyone, welcome back to the Talking Mode. My name is Sarah, and alongside with me is Caroline.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm very welcome to see you here. So in today's episode, we're gonna talk about very interesting and very fascinating topic in my opinion. We will compare the different generations with each other, like doing a kind of generations then versus now, and see what are differences among the generations like Gen Y, Gen Z, and even like the generations to come. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy and let's get started.
Because I was supposed to say, let's get started, but I was like,
Yeah, I
I didn't
know.
get to say that. Okay. Anyway, what would you think, like, if you were born back, like, if you were born last year in 2020, and
How
now,
can I?
and now you're like 10 years looking back, how would you feel? Or actually, I don't think that we actually remember the time when we were born. Maybe
Yeah.
say you're 5 years old when you're in 2020, and now you're 10 years later looking back. What would you feel?
Okay, so how would I react on my childhood being born in 2020, right?
Like
Um,
maybe being
so
5 years old in 2020?
yes. So meaning in 2021 I'm 6 years old and 10 years from now it means that in 2031, right? Looking back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, got it. So, I was just thinking about this recently because with the current situation with the COVID-19 pandemic, I feel like generation like babies born in these periods have kind of a drastically different experience compared to our childhood. You know, their childhood consists of like COVID-19 restrictions, war quarantine, and even news about how many people are dying. And I don't know, it's both very good and very bad at the same time because being quarantined means that you have time for your like development process and also with schools being canceled, I feel like kids now they have more time and to experience their childhood and experience the most pure and innocent time of their life, but also at the same time there are many stakes, for example, like financial stake of their parents, and also just news and misinformation and fake news and all the very dangerous, very dark news that they are not supposed to consume. So yeah, I think that's very interesting because like in our childhood we don't have any of that. Like we didn't even know like what is in the internet and what is social media. Like kids nowadays, they're very adept at using technological advancements like TikTok.
So, well, I think that when we were around eight, there were the SARS COVID, like the SARS, um, like the pandemic, but it was back in 2012. But I guess that,
Really,
yeah, I
I
I
couldn't
think that
remember
back
though.
then the social media wasn't that developed, and compared to right now. So maybe we don't really remember what really
Yeah,
happened in 2012, because if you think
yeah.
about it, we were like we were born in 2004, right? So that's what we were 8 already, and then I just don't remember anything back then.
Yes, me too. I just remember running around and crying and stuff, begging my parents to buy me toys and stuff. But even back then, like my family wasn't that not like wealthy, but like we didn't have much money, and so my childhood is kind of very, um, very I don't know, young fat, young yeah. I don't know how to call that in English, but because like we didn't have much money and also the technology isn't that advanced compared to now. My child is kind of fascinating. But like, do you remember when entering in primary school? What are the activities that like you and your friends would do on a at recess. Do you remember?
Do you know that game when you plays with your, I don't know, like kind of like you open your palms and then you play some, and then you point one of the finger onto the arms and you sing like the chi chi and chang chang, something like that.
That's
I,
classic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you close your, and then when it almost like reached to the last part of the lyrics, and then just close your
Try to
palm and then you
grab
catch
your
them.
friend's hands
Yeah.
and like catch them. Yeah, I remember that.
Or like we
Also,
play the crocodiles is coming like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
The
then it's like
crocodile on land something, which when it is translated into English, it sounds kind of like that. Oh my god, it makes me nostalgic though. Think about
oh,
that.
and the one when you clap your hands like against others like against your friends and you sing the rhyming songs something
Yeah, yeah, I know it. It starts with something like. Do you remember though?
wait, I forgot the first like the
Yeah,
first
I forgot too. There's something related to Uncle Ho, right?
right
I
at the
just remember that. I only the rest, but like it's kind of cool. Like I didn't know who invented that, but yeah, it's kind of cool and innovative.
I think it's gonna like in my mind. It's gonna be in my mind for a while until I figure out what's that song is. Like, it's annoying. Like, come to think of it, it
Yeah,
used to.
because it's very rhythmic,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
just
kind
lines.
of cannot
Yeah,
forget it.
and then there's like a lot of version after that. They just kind of like they recreate it into some kind of bad lyrics and things.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah, and then, like
I'm not
parody.
aware of that.
But now I don't even remember the original version.
Yeah, I just remember something with Uncle Ho and traveling around the world and something. I don't know. Yeah, those are the kind of traditional folklores, I would say. But what about the actual activities? Like, for me, throughout my primary school years, the only game that I used to play with my friends was bamboo checks. You know, when you have a tennis ball and a bunch of chopsticks and you throw the ball on onto the air and then you like gradually pick up the chopsticks. I don't know. I played it like every single day at school and it just made my hands get very dirty, but it was very fun.
You know,
And also, yeah.
like the thing about that is that well, why you said that you play that for like almost like every year of your primary school.
Yeah.
My family actually when they talked and then they kind of like, oh, these kids nowadays they don't know how to play those games. I was like, okay. I really don't know how to play that. I just know that the existence of the game, but my family actually said that oh, these generations doesn't know how to play that.
I don't know, maybe because like my primary school, it's kind of in the suburban, not suburban, but like yeah, in around where I live. So it's not as well developed compared to the schools in the heart of the city. But like we used to play that a lot, and also the nhảy lò cò
Hmm.
game.
Oh yeah,
Also
the
like Oang Wang too. Yeah. I don't know about your school, but did your school like they painted the squares onto the ground so that the children can play it
yeah.
without like
I
care.
think I have
Yeah,
that in preschool too.
yeah.
We really like that game.
It
But
was
like
nostalgic.
until now, when I don't know if you remember, like last year when we were back in grade 10, we actually
Mm-hmm.
played that game, and then I just realized that I've got the rules all wrong. Like I got it all wrong because
The
yeah,
jumping thing, the jumping
with the
game.
jumping thing and the rules that you're not supposed to I don't know like stop or something, and I just like
Yeah,
wow.
but like we couldn't help it because there are too many versions of it.
Hmm.
So we yeah. But like it's interesting though.
Right, so that's in terms of activities. How about, do you remember like how you interact with your friends, like in terms of communications? Like what do you call them, or how like what's the
Oh,
conversations mostly about?
I have no idea. I couldn't remember. Um, well, I think I would call them by name, like by their actual name, and not as we call each other now, like using pronouns and stuff. But yeah, I used to call them by name, but I couldn't recall how our conversation started though. Yeah, I figured we would talk about toys and dolls, and how back then girls used to carry kind of miniature models of their houses, like the mini sofa and the mini thing. And so I think we would, our conversation would circle around those, and yeah, because like we didn't even know what to say back then. What
I
about
think
you though?
we used to call like one another by like in English it's like madam or sir. Do you remember? Like it's like
Cậu cậu
bad.
tôi á.
Yeah. And then thinking back, it sounds really, really silly.
No, but back then we couldn't think much though.
Yeah, like so back then nobody really called in a friendly manner like and go, and like at least in the South, right? We don't really communicate. We don't really. I don't really call you like go, and
That would be so
I
cringe.
yeah, it sounds really weird, and then back then, even though calling like and ba, it's still weird to the adults because they said that, oh, you guys are so like little and you call each other by, these like
Yeah.
ba, and it was like, okay. But now I actually come to think of it, and it was like, yeah, that's true. I mean, it sounds so artwork, and it's like there's one thing that I've not started to call by May and Tao until I've in like high school. So it's really soon, like it's really not really long since I've started calling, transferring to May and Tao, but then now I look back, it's so weird.
A fun fact. So I don't know if you do this, but to to a specific friend, I would call him or her like bà and tôi. But to a specific other group of friends, I would communicate them using like my and tao, and then to another I would call them using names and stuff. So there are many different categories I would classify my friends into, in so that I can, like, I don't know, call at them with different pronouns. I don't know if you do that, because like I've come to notice recently that I don't do that, and sometimes people pick on me for saying that, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and because I don't think I'm always good. Like I'm not really good with pronouns. Sometimes I try to, especially when text messaging, I try to stay clear of it. Like I just avoid the pronouns. I just text the without the pronouns.
Yeah, at first you did do that.
But then sometimes I just being pushed into the corners, and then I have no other choice but to really ban or like or like by her name. Yeah. So how about now? What do you think that those children born in like maybe Gen Alpha, like I'm not sure if I get it right, but when I visited my school a few years ago, like my primary schools, I've noticed that um they like there's a really like a lot of changes in personalities, like in the whole general characteristics. They are more like natural in sense of like speaking, like they're I feel like there's no boundaries between the adults and like the child anymore. Like it's very
Really?
yeah, I feel like it's very, very close, and they are I don't know, more joyful. It's not like we're depressed or anything. It's just that they're so like energetic, and or maybe we are old. That's
Confident,
why I
maybe
feel
confident
it's
too.
something very weird because I remember that we were more like reserved and all.
Yeah.
They just go all went all their way, and then it was like okay, and
Yeah.
uh,
If I were you, I would be shocked too. Yeah.
and they even like they start calling their classmates or their friends by Mei and Tao, which is regarded as something that you would only call them when you're in high school or you're in like secondary school. Yeah, it's very and I don't know. And they one thing that I'm really annoyed is that they get all the bad jokes, like the sexual jokes from I don't know. brothers or the sisters
That's
as well.
bad.
It's just like really bad influences on these children.
And also they curse
Yeah, a lot.
a lot. Yeah. Which was kind of I don't know, insulting to me in a sense. Like, even though I curse sometimes, but something I don't know. Because like we are technically eligible to curse.
Yeah, and then they're if like we curse at the appropriate situation, right? Then that's maybe okay because it's just a way of expressing our anger or but then
Emotion,
it
yeah.
becomes their catchphrase. It's like every
Yeah,
time
and,
they
yeah.
come out it's like that word.
Yeah, like they even curse more frequently than I do, which is kind of scary.
Right.
Okay. What about their education though?
Hmm?
Because we debated about this the standardized testing system in Vietnam, and so you and I we found some statistics or yeah, rates and or something about like students having to study for these tests at a very early age, like for IELTS, and even aside from movers, flyers, and stuff, they have to study IELTS even in like third grade or even sooner, or I don't know. Yeah, even some students they are exposed to English, like even when they are born, because they have the privilege of studying English with the help of technology nowadays. So I don't know. That goes to show that yeah, they study a lot. At least yeah, they know English better than
Uh,
when I was their age.
I
Yeah.
think that because with the advancements of technology and also with the changing mindset of parents that they want
Hmm.
their child to learn English as soon as possible so that they could
Hmm.
because for them the accent is very very important, right? It's
Hmm. Yeah.
they even have a clear like they want like clear request of what accent they want their child to have, like a British accent or like an American accent, and so they just let their child watch YouTube videos like English ones, and like you said, they push their child to go to I don't know like test preparation center for
Hmm.
IELTS at the age of maybe 6 or 7. Um, and yeah, I think that's very common right now.
Hmm.
Before I would be shocked, but right now I would say, wow, there's nothing that that's very surprised me anymore these days because it's I remember you said about like the hustling culture, right? The hustle culture.
Hmm.
Like everyone's
Yes.
obsessed with achievements and that we I think we kind of associate it with ages too. Like if you are young and you accomplish all these things, it's like oh it's so amazing. And then they just chase being chased by all of that expectations and achievements.
So there's some biological advantages associated with studying languages at such a young age. So
Hmm.
I feel like that just adds up to children's like pressure of having to score like high on all these linguistic tests, and even that's even just one language. But I know some parents they even in a sense do force their child to learn multiple languages. The show, there's the show. I remember one girl, she was able to speak like 10 languages and communicate them fluently and not just like basic phrases, which is astounding, but like at the same time, I don't know, pressuring. I don't know. Yeah. How could like I couldn't imagine like her childhood is full of learning languages and communicating and practicing, and because in order to be fluent at a language, like we need like practicing. And yeah, for her to be able to speak that amount of language fluently was very impressive, but very, yeah, as I mentioned, pressuring to me.
Right. So, do you think that it has like any impacts on, them studying their first language, like the mother tongue,
Yeah, yes,
being
of
exposed
course.
to?
Kids nowadays, with their aggressive nature, I would say, of their like wanting to show off, I think they would use English even more frequently than Vietnamese, because there's something with the foreign language, and there's something with the foreign, yeah, American, United States and stuff. It just sounds more professional and even more appealing. Yeah, for me, if I were their age too, I would be attracted to these foreign languages more than my mother tongue. But like I was fortunate enough that my parents didn't force me to learn English at such a young age. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And also, one thing that is associated with today's generation is the technology, and yeah, Instagram, social media, TikToks, right, and stuff. So do you think like that will certainly have some impacts on them, but do you think like it brings more harm than good, or vice versa?
Well, that's a very good question. I think that right now, when I watch, just surfing, like not really, scrolling through the TikTok, I've seen a lot of kids. They just, post and then do all sorts of dance challenge online. I think for that, I don't think there's harm, but because they're just using it for just for fun. Yeah, it's like they just dance. There's no harm. But the thing is, the thing that they post, the act of posting it, it's okay. But the thing when they are in TikTok, they are being exposed to others' materials too, right?
Yes,
People
yes, of
on
course.
TikTok, there's a lot of there's I don't believe there's a age restricted restriction in TikTok, right?
Yeah,
Um,
TikTok
think-
like occasionally take their videos down, but that's not always the case. Yeah, so keep going.
yeah. So I mean, for most parts, it's dance challenge or makeup
Mhm.
tutorials, but some of them are like um they have like inappropriate contents, like
Mhm.
includes cursings and um lifestyle, especially the lifestyle. I believe that it could lead kids into thinking. I feel like I don't know. Maybe they're thinking about rich lifestyle or something because I feel like it's
Yes,
a
yes, the
glamour.
materialistic.
Yeah, show off in some of the video, like TikTok's video. It's just for fun, but for a child to look at those things and they just have different um thoughts. They cannot really extinguish which is good, which is what's fake, what is there just for the entertainment. They just take it
Yeah.
full, and I think that it's very, in a way, it's very bad if there's no parents supervision.
There's a trend going on TikTok that about people like reacting, and like yeah, reacting to kids using TikTok nowadays, and they were surprised that some kids, they look older than their age, and there's, for example, boys who are like only 13 years old. They're trying to, I don't know if they are mimicking, or they're trying to mimic the 17-year-old boy, because I've seen many people looking at that 13 years old, and they think that he is 17, and because of that, I feel like he's going on around and even flirting, doing some sexual thing, even like fooling other females into thinking that he is eligible to date, and like even, I don't know, sending some sexual content, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's very dangerous, because like we cannot know, and we cannot, yeah, really make sure that who are we talking to, and if, because like if we send some sexual things to kid, that can be considered as violating children's rights, right? And so yeah, that's kind of very scary. Yeah, I don't know.
And the thing is that they are like some of them are irreversible effects, right? Things that okay, so it's
Mm.
harm children, and if it's something that's relating to mindset or behaviors, and it's really hard to amend. Like you just really
Yes, agree.
yeah.
So I don't know about my question to you. I feel like it has done more harm than good though, because
Yeah.
like even though it provides advantages for them to connect in a large scale, or even for them to get access to maybe news and some materials, but the thing that is affected is their mindset and their lifestyle and even their perspective on life, and that's very hard to mend, like you said, and also change and alternate.
So how about the ways that the like parenting has differed from when you and I were born and those
Mm,
Gen Alpha? Like, is it really
yeah.
different? Like, is there more helicopter parents, or they're being more protective, or are they being more chill and what do you think?
So parents who are people who are parents of these kids, like the later generations, they are still young, right? We can consider them like kind of in their 30s, or maximum in their 40s. So they are kind of young, and they can catch up with these technology very fast. And so in a way, I don't know about you, but this is my own opinion. But I feel like they are very laid back, and they're not as protective as our parents used to be. Because back then, because we have to run around, we have to play all these activities, our parents are always by our side, because like they were afraid that we would get kidnapped, or we would like get some accident and stuff. But with today's generation, kids just stay at home and they just play games and stuff, and so parents kind of think that it is harmless in a sense. I don't know, and they don't have to worry about their children's safety anymore. But the thing that they don't recognize is that their children mindset and their children's opinions are being shaped and being altered by all these information consumed through this through the screen. And yeah, about the parenting style, I think it has been more gentle, and it has been more laid back. Yeah, it maybe because they incorporate the gentle parenting style, but I don't know, because they, yeah. What about you?
Um, like I think that at the same time they're protective and they're laid back. Like they're protective in ways that, for example, they're really being specific about what kind of ingredients that their child being fed. For example, it should be this kind of food, this kind of cereals, this kind, yeah. Because I feel like with the I don't know if it's correlates with the advancement of technology and the boost of social media, but I feel like now they are really attracting young parents with all sorts of different supplements and things that could help the kids with brains. Of course, that has been appealing to parents for a very long time, but right now it's just more and more, and feel like young parents are very very strict about those kind of brands. But in terms of like supervise us into plays and things, I think yeah there are those who are more gentler like you said, but those there are more, but there are, at the same time there are those who want to kind of guide their child into learning a lot of skills, like
Yeah,
when they're young they they learn piano, they learn um, debate, they learn all sorts of things that you don't think that they
debate.
know. Yeah, it's like they're very young considering, and they just
Yeah.
learn all sorts of
Oh,
skills, and there are a lot of
it's good that
yeah, there are a wide variety of courses that are now available for children, which I don't think that I even know what that course is
yeah,
about.
yeah. I was just about to say, like, even though I'm not sure if if providing children with such material is going to be helpful because they don't even know what those materials are. So I would prefer giving them at a much older age, like around 15 and stuff, like yeah, even around our age, because like we kind of understand that about those materials and stuff. And yep, I don't know, but I appreciate parents like providing for their children and being very diverse in the way they teach the children. Yeah, which is very fortunate. But I don't know, because like at the same time, like you said, they don't even know what what those things are, and so that's kind of going to waste in a sense. Okay, so let's talk about our experience.
Right. So, what are the things that we experience differently to our parents? You want to go first?
Like,
So my moms and my dad they don't really tell me this, but like my grandparents, so they just, sometimes we had this talk at the, dining table, and they just said that, oh, back then, when you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
little, and, they just, and one thing, they said they're very close with the neighbor, like everyone, like all the neighbors, they just know one another, not like now.
Yeah, yeah.
So they made a lot of friends, those in the neighborhood, and it's just in the surrounding, and then they would play, outside most of the time, and they would use anything that they have to make toys. It's not like right now when we have a lot of things at our disposal that we sometimes we pick it up and then we throw it away for 5 seconds later.
Mhm.
Something that, yeah, I've heard a lot.
It's kind of a universal thing with our parents and our grandparents. Like they always told us about the old days. Like
Yeah,
how we
and
took
then
time.
and about the like study. For example, now we have a lot of English materials, to learn. But
Hmm.
then my mom said that she didn't have a lot of, chances to learn English, or if they're not like, they're just Vietnamese teachers, not like with foreign teachers like right now. And of course the resources are limited, and well, in terms of accuracy, it's all right, but it's just that the resources are limited, and they just, really really fought their way to learn the language. It's just, and now
Yeah.
there are like a bunch of them, and a lot of them are free.
Yeah, which is good, but not like now everything is so expensive. Well, I just thought about like, do you think that our generation is the golden generation, like the in between generation between like we do still have some traditional activities, like we do have some childhood, like spending time without smartphones and stuff, but we also have many access and chances and opportunities at our hands like when we grow up. So I feel like we are very fortunate to
Oh,
be born, yeah, because it's the in between range. Yeah, I mean, like we're golden.
and I think that
Yeah,
we kind of inherit like a little something of,
yeah, both of both,
prior
both
generation,
of us
right?
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. But I don't know about, yeah. I feel like sometimes does get stressful because we are expected so highly. Um, yeah, I don't know, because like the more opportunities there are, the higher the expectations. And the same with the later generation, but
But at the same time, where you're being exposed to a lot of chances and, opportunities, then your
yes, yes.
motivations kind of went down a little bit, because you think that you could,
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah. Me
anything
too.
already. You
And
don't really.
everything is so digital. Like even now, I think like I would love to get some time off, but I can't. And so I can't imagine the later generation spending their whole life with digital and technological advancement.
Yeah, so
Wow.
basically they are like, say now if we are staying locked down and without phones or anything, that would be the same, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't change much because we will have books to read, we have other things to do, we can call each other. But I don't know about younger generation. What would they do? They would go on and play games. I mean, brother, he does it all the time.
True.
So
Yeah, we do rely more on technological devices because we're basically born with it. So
yeah, but like I do try to stay mindful and maybe limit and sometimes do a detox, like a digital detox. Yeah, occasionally, but I don't know about that because I'm so busy and we have so many things to do. Yeah. Do you think it's the end? Because
yeah,
like I have
that's a
some
wrap.
class to go in like 2 minutes.
That's a wrap. So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll see you guys on our next episode next week, right?
Okay.
Stay tuned
Stay safe.
and stay
Stay
awesome.
awesome. Bye.